Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Coffee and questions. What's today's topic? Well, I went to like a garage sale, estate sale kind of a thing, and I picked up very inexpensively, actually next to nothing, some antique tools, jack planes, stuff like that. Well, I'll do another video on that stuff. But what I did pick up is I picked up this old, I think it's like a kerosene lamp, and I converted it over into an electrical lamp. And so the way that I did that, of course, was just running a cord up through it and putting an electrical, socket into it and playing around. And it did take me a while to figure it out and how to do it. The biggest issue was after I got it together, it looked pretty cool. I liked it. And then I decided, okay, how am I going to clean this up? I mean, it was tarnished beyond belief. And what it was made out of, it's made out of both brass and copper. And I thought, well, I'm going to have a hell of a time figuring out how to clean it. Now, I know everybody uses Brasso, but I wanted to try something different. It was a product I read about online. Amazon has it. I'll leave you the link, of course, like I always do. But I want to show you how this stuff works. So I'm going to switch over in just a sec because I'm driving, and I'll talk to you, from inside the house, and I'll show you pictures and advertisements. And I'll show you pictures both before and after using this stuff, and how easy it is and how well it turned out. So I'll see you inside in just a sec.
All right, welcome back, everybody. So what did I decide to buy? I bought Barkeeper's Friend. I'll leave you a link below in the description, and I got it off Amazon, of course, and you can get it in liquid form. That's the one over on the far right, or powder form over here on the left. Now, I bought the powder form, and there's a picture of the Scott towels and stuff on here because that's what I used, along with a couple other things that I'm going to show you in the photographs. But I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to change the picture, and I'm going to walk you through exactly what I did, how I did it, and this stuff really works fantastic. I was really surprised. So let me change the picture and we'll keep going with the discussion. Okay, so here's the exact ad off of Amazon, and you can see that it ships prime. Okay, fine. Comes in this canister of powder, and then you can read through on the description here where it says you get new look, same formula. I guess that means they changed the container or something, but it cleans, it polishes. Okay, it's a bleach free product, and I'll give you a couple of moments here. I mean, you can pause this and read through this. It cleans everything, but it does say on the container, don't use it on gold or silver. So there are probably other things I wouldn't use it on. I mean, somebody made a comment in the forum, hey, can you use it on, like your automobile and stuff? I would tell you try it in an area that's not that noticeable, before you do, because it is a mild abrasive. It's a super mild abrasive, but still, it may not be something you want to use on your automobile. So anyway, let me change the picture. Let's get right after the project, and I'll answer some more of the questions for you. Okay, so here's a shot of the foot part of this where it's got all these nooks, crannies, crevices, and everything else. And I thought this is going to be really hard to get this thing all polished up. So what I did is I just turned around and I got it wet like it said in the instructions. And I'll give you another technique in a bit. Got it wet, sprinkled some of it on there. I used a toothbrush at first, and I scrubbed the daylights out of this all the way around. Now, the foot part of this, I did do twice. I mean, I put it on there, I scrubbed it, followed the instructions, I let it sit for a minute, then I rinsed it off. Then I turned around, I did it one more time, and this is how the base of this looks. Now, let me show you some modifications I did to the technique that worked out a lot better. So let me just change the picture again, and we'll keep talking. Okay, let's take a look at this picture here. You can see where I put it over the sink, and I've got my cleaner over here on the far right. So what I did is I got some Harbor Freight nylon brushes. They're a little bit stiffer than a toothbrush. I thought it might work better, but I had a toothbrush. You'll see it in the sink barely here on the bottom. And I got myself one of those 3M pads, those little scrub brushes, and I cut a section off. So those are the things that I attempted to use here, and which ones worked out better. Well, the nylon brush from Harbor Freight actually worked the best, but the toothbrush served its purposes in some really fine areas. So I got it wet, and you'll see, the base is done now, and it's real shiny, but you'll see the middle part here in the sink where the globe part is, or the little globe, where I got it wet, and I went ahead and I sprinkled this powder on there, and I started scrubbing it in. Now, what I found to work better was in the sink, there's water there, and I put some of that powder in there. I made a slurry, then I went ahead and I put it on and I started scrubbing. And it doesn't take a lot of effort, but you do have to scrub. So between using the 3M pad and the nylon brush from Harbor Freight, this is how I did this right here. And there's some liquid, detergent back here. I didn't use that. It's just there in the picture, was on the sink. So this is all I used. Now, there's one other way that you can do this that works out exceptionally well, is I took a small container, I put some powder in there, and then I added just a little bit of vinegar to it. It's kind of like mixing two acidic products. This is oxalic acid that's in a powder in the bartender's keeper's helper, along with vinegar, which is acidic too. And that worked even better. I wouldn't say it enormously better, but it worked better. But with all of these, I just scrub the daylights out of them. It says on the container, let it sit for a minute or so and then rinse it off. I used hot water to rinse it off, and it comes out incredibly shiny. So let me show you a couple of pictures, and I'll make a couple of comments, and we'll go to questions and answers. Okay, so here what I'm doing is I'm showing you a close-up now of me putting that powder on here, and this is what it looks like. And then you'll see the little globe in the middle where I started to scrub it. At first, it doesn't seem like it's doing a lot in terms of that real dark tarnish, but give it a chance. The stuff works real good. And all I did is put it on there like you see here. I let it sit, and then I scrubbed it with a scrub brush real good. And I did not, on this section, I did not apply it twice. I just learned to scrub it more with that wet slurry, and I just kept scrubbing, and it gets in all of the fine details, like all of the, the metal bendings and all the detail work. It works exceptionally well. I was really afraid that this was going to be like a nightmare to try to clean again and polish, but actually wasn't. So let me change the picture. Let's just keep going. Okay, so now this is a close-up of the lamp when I'm totally done with it. So I did everything with this. Probably took me 30, 45 minutes of just putting the powder on, scrubbing, and carrying on with it. And then, like I said, I rinsed it off with hot water. There is a little bit of there's a complaint where it's like, well, and we'll go through the uses, but there's a little bit of a film on there. Well, I used hot water, and I just kept spraying and rinsing it off, and I got it real clean. And then I just took a paper towel to it, and I got it all nice and dry. So this is the lamp right here completed. It is nice. I really liked how this turned out with all of the detail and stuff between the copper and the brass. So let's switch over to questions and answers, and let's see if I can answer the questions for everybody that, because I did my own research, of course, before I bought the product. But works better than Brasso, works better than Comet, works better than Ajax, a lot better. I'd say, significantly better. If you want to use Comet and Ajax, go ahead. Those are also mild abrasives, but this tends to work on a lot of things for a lot of different reasons. So let's go to questions and answers, and I'll explain it to you. I guess the first thing we can talk about are the reviews. It's got a 5-star rating, 83%. And I always look at the 5 and the 4-star. 4-star, 8%. You can throw in a little bit of a percentage on the 3-star, but overall, this is about a 92 to 94% positive product rating. And, I agree. This stuff works, like I said, really well. But, people write reviews and stuff like that, and it's not hard to tell who's being legitimate and who's not. So I'll go through some of the questions, answers, and complaints about it, but I didn't see anything in here that was really a significant complaint. So let's start. Can you use it to remove rust and tarnish and stuff from stainless steel? Yes, you can. I would use, a scrub brush like that 3M pad. Now, somebody else made the remark, they call them magic eraser pads. Let me stop. I'll show you a brief picture of what they're talking about in case you want to buy it. But the 3M pad, the generic ones, I think work fine for me. And I did use them on a pot that I had. I wanted to see if it really could get off the black crud and the marks, and it does. So let me show you what you were talking about. Okay, briefly, I took this just off of Amazon's site. Now, when you hear people like in comments and stuff mention that they use these magic pads, this is what they're referring to. Like I said, you could probably find them at any grocery store or hardware store, I suppose, but it's not what I use. But this is what they're referring to when they talk about the magic cleaning eraser sponges. Will it work on granite surfaces? Yeah, my kitchen top counters that you saw in those previous pictures are granite. Works on them fine, cleans them all right. I didn't notice a significant difference, but yes, it'll work on granite. What's in it? It's oxalic acid. It's just a very mild abrasive, and it comes in a powder, like, like I told you here in the canister. Is there any harm on leaving it on longer? The instructions say to put it, put it on a wet surface. In other words, wet what you're doing. Put it on there, you scrub it, let it sit for 1 minute and rinse off. Does it hurt anything to put a little bit more on the surface? No. Does it hurt to let it sit longer than a minute? No, because when I did the lamp, there were times I let it sit there probably 5, 10, 15 minutes before I went back and rinsed it off, because I was scrubbing in all the, all that detail. So it did sit longer. It didn't hurt anything at all. Do you use it straight out of the can? Yes, you do. What you do is, like I said, you get the surface wet. You throw some of the powder on there, and then whether you're using that 3M pad or you're using a little brush like I did from Harbor Freight, nylon brush, not brass or metal, just a nylon brush. You can also use a paper towel if the surface is flat. You can use different things, but for the lamp, because of all the intricate pieces, that's what I used. It worked out perfectly fine. One thing I'll tell you, you can mix it with a little bit of vinegar, which is like mixing two acidic components together, and yes, it does work out even a little bit better. It's just a matter of playing around while I was doing the lamp and trying different things that I had read about. So yes, that's one plus. I mean, you could put just a little bit in a container and just add just a little bit, of vinegar, and make it into like a paste, then put it on the surface and then start scrubbing it. And yes, it does work a little bit better. How did it work on pots and pans? It works great, okay, to get off that black residue or any rust. These are not my pictures. I'm going to show you a before and after picture right now of a guy that used them on, a fairly tarnished, messed up cooking pan. So let me change the picture. I'll show you real quick. We'll come right back. Okay, so like I said, these aren't my pictures, but this is a before and after. But this is the way the bottom of one of my stock pots looked on the inside. I mean, just from cooking and normal use. And it was all discolored and it had all these black little dots. So I put it in there and I used one of those 3M scrub pads, and it came out just like you see this guy's, cooking pan did here in the picture. So yeah, it works. I almost thought it was a little gimmicky when I saw this guy's photo, and I thought, I don't know, we'll see. So when I got done with the lamp, I turned around and I used it on a couple of different surfaces. This happened to be one of them where he used it on a pan. The other thing is, I can tell you that it works really good on, is I kind of made a mess on the granite countertop and around my sink. And my sink is porcelain, and I have standard brushed, like really dark, you'll see in the picture, fixture faucet. And I just scrubbed everything down really good. And then I used the spray nozzle and I sprayed everything off to remove, like, that really fine film that you can feel. And it got everything incredibly clean. So yes, in fact, the picture is very truthful and the stuff does work really well. Regarding the porcelain, yeah, it gets all of the scum and grime and any kind of discoloration off. It works really good. You just got to spend a little bit of time and scrub on it. But yeah, does it work on marble? Yes, it works on marble also, but I didn't have the marble. It's just what I read in the comments that it does. Brushed nickel faucets, well, that's what I had, and it worked totally fine. Got them incredibly clean and removed all the calcium and crap. So yeah, it works really good for those things. Is there anything toxic in this? Well, I don't want to breathe it. I mean, but if you're careful with it, I would tell you no. I mean, there isn't anything like toxic, and I wore what I wore. It was just latex gloves. How about using it on a toilet? Well, I read a couple of different comments. I did go try it on my toilet, but my toilet isn't that bad. But other people complained of watermarks and stuff like on the porcelain on the inside of the toilet. So what they did is they sprinkled this powder into the toilet bowl, and then they scrubbed it really well, and they made that paste like I told you with a little vinegar, and they scrubbed all around it, and they left it alone for about 2 or 3 hours. Then they came back, flushed, and they said it got, the porcelain looking brand new again. So if it's on the outside of your toilet or the inside, I mean, I would tell you to go ahead and try it. It's what I read that other people were doing. One guy left it overnight, flushed it in the morning. He said it all came crystal clean too. So those are those people's comments on it. I have not tried it, on a toilet that was that dirty. So, but it does work, it says. How about using it on the bottom of copper pans? It works really good on copper all the way around, but if it was the bottom of a pan, I agree with one of the comments I read because I've always done it this way. I just use lemon juice. You can get those squeeze bottles of it at any, supermarket, and table salt. Just throw it in there and scrub it around real good, and it will get it incredibly clean. Simpler method so that you don't need to necessarily go buy anything, but it works. No, I buy a lot of stuff off Amazon, like I say in my videos, and I do that for a reason, is that not everybody lives near a place that sells a lot of products like this that aren't rapid turnover. So I don't know, to answer your question, if your local hardware store is going to have Barkeeper's Friend. I don't know. You can check. If not, I've left you the link here, in the description below. You can go to Amazon and buy it there and try it. You can do a web search and see if any of your stores carry it. If not, there's the link. There's a guy here that gets a lot of calcium buildup on his boat, on the hull of it, and he said just by putting it on there, it gets it incredibly clean, and so he uses it for water spot removal, scum removal, and stuff on the hull of his boat. Okay, good idea. How did I mix it with the vinegar? Well, you just play around, make your own slurry. It just depends on how much of the powder you're putting in and how much vinegar. I just use regular vinegar, or good. People say use white vinegar, or, these different variations in vinegar. I just used vinegar that was in the cupboard, and it worked, actually a little bit better. To give you an idea, somebody made a comment, use 1 ounce to a half a teaspoon. I didn't really go by that mixture. I don't want to sit there with, measuring spoons and figure this out. I just wanted to try it and see if it did work that much better, and it does, especially when it comes to calcium deposits. If you have a shower glass door, let's say, and you get water spots and calcium buildup, I took to one section in one of the bathrooms I have. It gets it incredibly clean. It takes it right off. It doesn't have a whole lot of effort, in the application, because I've already described you can use it with or without the vinegar. That's your choice. Vinegar just makes it a little bit better. Okay, this is kind of your quick tip of the day, and it was a project that I did, something a little bit different in the realm of handyman stuff, antique lamp restoration, and like I said, the real hard part was figuring out how to clean it all up. This is what I used. It works great. I would buy this product again, no problem. I hope you click subscribe. I hope you keep following me. If you know something better, drop it in the comment below. I would be really careful, depending on what you're doing, on using anything very abrasive along with this stuff. So don't run out and get steel wool or anything like that unless you know for a fact it's going to work. All right, I'm the Home Handyman. I hope you folks click subscribe. I'll see you on the next video here over the weekend. Thank you, folks. Bye-bye.